dancing his way across the Milton campus for 13 years.
Yes.
From performing as the baker in Into the Woods outside the CSG, to the role of Troy Bolton in High School Musical Junior this spring, Ben has certainly made his mark on the performing arts. A student with a hunger for life, Ben's teachers describe him as having a natural curiosity about the world. He is an incredibly reflective and thoughtful learner who is always upbeat and kind. A student who is willing to take on any challenge that's placed before him. With a true sense of empathy and kindness for others, Ben is engaged in the Milton community in a myriad of ways beyond the many excellent performances on the theater stage. As an Orange and Blue Key tour guide, a speech and debate team member, a coach for the middle school speech team, singing a cappella with the Miltones, and through his work with the Student Wellness Association, it is clear that Ben cares deeply about and authentically engages with his teachers, peers, and our younger students in the community. On Tuesday night at Baccalaureate, I had the pleasure of watching Ben perform Imagine by John Lennon, a performance he dedicated to his advisor who's retiring this year. It was a moving highlight as part of a great evening and the perfect encapsulation of who Ben is as a person. It is for all these reasons that his classmates chose him to speak on this day. So now, please help me welcome, for his final time on a Milton stage, Ben Simpson.
Good morning. Thank you, Coach Stone. Good morning, Dr. Neblett, Ms. Donahue, Mr. Bland, Mr. Ball, Ms. Shubrew, Mr. Ruiz, faculty and staff way in the back, family and friends, and of course, the class of 2021. My grandfathers are pretty tough people. My grandpa Kelly grew up as a migrant farm worker in California, and my grandpa Bob went to night school while working as a truck driver. Both did whatever it took to support their families. Both served this country. Grandpa Bob was in the Army during the Vietnam War. Grandpa Kelly was on naval submarines during the Cold War. Both had a resilience and grit that helped them to form solid foundations on which to build their families. Both instilled values of support which have lasted generations. Both embodied the importance of always being there for each other, no matter what. In November of 2020, my family got a phone call in the middle of the night that Grandpa Bob was being rushed to the hospital. Normally, my family would have dropped everything to be there to help him in some way. That's what we do. That's what Grandpa Bob taught us to do. As we all know, the world was and continues to be in the midst of a global pandemic. We couldn't hop on a plane. We couldn't burst into a hospital. We couldn't leave our house without putting other people's lives at risk. My mother took that risk, but the rest of my family had to remain home with only a call or a text to be updated on my grandfather's condition. Recently, Grandpa Kelly also became very ill and was taken to the hospital, and yet again, we were faced with the terrifying and disheartening reality that we couldn't be there for them. I couldn't be there for them. To tell them not to worry about Nan or Grandma. To tell them that Grandpa Bob's car would be clean and driven by the time he got home. To tell them that Grandpa Kelly's garden would be tended after. Or even just to say, I'm here. I love you. Not being able to be there to support them, that is what stung the most. This year, we lost the ability to be there for each other. We lost time together. We lost access to the places where we could be together. And we tried our best to fill the void created by this lack of connection, but I don't think you'll disagree when I say that meeting someone on Zoom isn't the same as face-to-face. For me, this loss hit particularly hard at Milton. Here, we create and explore communities that help us define who we are. As underclassmen, we learn to connect with seniors we hope to be like someday. We find our people. We We are shown by our friends and our teachers not only how to support, but that we ourselves are supported. From having heartfelt discussions in the back of a bus after a long day of competing, to laughing at a stupid joke one of your friends makes at lunch, to just smiling when you see someone smile back when you call their name from across the quad. We all connect in various ways that leave lasting impressions. Freshman year, we all had to take the fun and slightly intimidating PE requirement project adventure. In this class, we participated in various team-building activities. The goal of these activities was to form a bond with a new class, creating a sense of community. The final adventure of Project Adventure was walking the rafters of the RSG while our friends held on to our rope harnesses below. It was supposed to be fun, but as someone with a fear of heights, it was terrifying. But until recently, I didn't exactly appreciate the value of it all. You see, in the moment, it was just a game. A year later, a traumatic memory. However, now, Project Adventure seems pretty significant. I learned to allow my classmates to support me, figuratively and literally. Like I said, we were like 40 feet in the air, tiny rope harness, it was absolutely terrifying. We learned that we couldn't just say, I'm here for you. You had to mean it. You had no choice. No matter whose ropes you were holding on to, and no matter who was holding on to your ropes, just like a family. Carlos, Alyssa, and Tanisha held on to my ropes. Do you remember who held on to yours? Our time together is in its dwindling moments. We will soon receive a piece of paper saying that we made it through Milton. After our graduation, we will move on to another campus, a career, or another path where Milton will be in the past. For some, that's exciting. For others, scary. And for most, it feels like it couldn't come sooner. As much as we are all eager at various levels to move on, one thing will always remain: the connections. Be it friends, teachers, roommates, dorm parents, or anyone of significance to you, the connections you have made here will remain. From the support of these individuals will never fade, no matter how far you go. I know that I can count on my friends both in this moment and in 10, 20, 50 years from now. Someone I have always been able to count on is my advisor, Jean Jacobs. Throughout my time in the upper school, she has always had my back. She has congratulated me during my successes, supported me during my stumbles, and has never taken any of my poorly constructed excuses. She has shown me through surprise cupcakes and advisory meetings, to weekend texts just to check in, and many more gestures of kindness that she will always be cheering me on. Thank you, Ms. Jacobs. Wherever you are, there. I will be cheering you on as you take the next steps. These known connections will extend far beyond the reaches of the classroom, the stage, or our campus. These connections are happening all around us every day, and I didn't even realize it until I spoke with an alum myself. Zach Dotis, class of '94, is a well-known writer and producer in LA. At the moment, you can see his work on the hit show High School Musical, the series, on Disney+. I reached out to Mr. Dotis to try and gain the perspective of past Milton students. However, as someone who is trying to make a career as an actor, you can say that I was a little, very terrified. I was talking to someone who has broken into and succeeded in a field that I dreamed about being a small part of. But as we started talking, I lost all my nerves. After a brief introduction, we were just two Milton students talking to one another. I learned that, like myself, Mr. Dotis is a lifer, was a speechy, and sang in the Miltones a cappella group. We connected over our Milton experiences. Mr. Dotis expressed how truly indispensable his time at Milton was. As a writer, he uses the lessons taught in his English classes on a daily basis, but what I found to be most impactful is that he still runs his work by his old friend and fellow speech team member from Milton. Mr. Dotis told me about working on a TV show about being in high school. He constantly refers back to his time at Milton for inspiration. 27 years later, those connections remain. 27 years later, Milton connected two people that may have never met. Mr. Dotis and I shared a wonderful hour and a half talking as if we had been friends in high school. And now that we are friends, Mr. Dotis, Zach, if you ever need an actor in one of your shows, call me. Milton has the power to connect generations of people from across the globe. These connections can be intentional or out of the blue. 2 years ago, I ran into a Milton alum in a small town in the middle of New Hampshire, a complete stranger with whom I bonded over the simple fact that Milton Academy holds a special place in our hearts and minds. These interactions made me realize that the support we had received from and given to Milton Academy doesn't stop after today. This year, the class of 2021 and the whole world really was blindsided. Our support systems weren't always there in the same way that we had been used to. Our connections were limited. And that's why I'm so happy that we are all here today. It seems like a lifetime ago that all of us were brought together like this. I'm sure all of our families are thrilled to be here to support us. I know mine is. My grandfathers are especially excited. Like I said, they're tough people. Grandpa Kelly watches us from home as he makes his full recovery. Hi, Grandpa. And Grandpa Bob, he's sitting right there. Whether you're watching us on Zoom or sitting here with us in person, we are all connected and supported by this school in one way or another. We are all brought here to support the class of 2021. With that being said, I encourage you all, now that we can, to connect to those around you. Talk about why you are here, who you're supporting, or even just say hello. I know it might be a bit awkward, but please do it now. The person behind you, to your left, to your right, in front of you. I'll do it too.
I feel like I'm in church.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. I just met John Mix. He is here supporting Ben Boffigan. He is Ben Boffigan's grandpa. I know that was a bit odd, a little unexpected, but hopefully fun. Thank you for taking that risk. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for supporting me and for supporting my class. Thank you, Grandpa Kelly. Thank you, Grandpa Bob. Thank you.